right, 72 degrees Fahrenheit, 6,277 miles on that odometer. It is a Monday, November 18th, 2024. Yes, the other day in the vlog I said it was 2029. I can time travel, I'll show you. There, it just went an hour ahead. Now I'm back in time again. Anyway, welcome to the Please Subscribe show. I'm Cole Spivey. The channel. That's the channel you're on. That'd be a cool name for a YouTuber, The Channel. Maybe that's my nickname, The Channel. I remember when A.D.W.C was hanging out with Natalie Travels, who became Daphne in the Daphne show. She said, yes, I do watch the Cole Spivey channel. That was back in the day. And she said I was very lucky to have Linda. And I do appreciate that, Natalie. Guess the Daphne show took off and Adam and her, or I don't know. Hell, all I know, they could, I don't know. I don't want to throw out anything, but anyway, regardless, she's San Francisco and Adam, the Woo is Orlando, Florida, or he's Celebration, Florida, but it's the Orlando area right there where Disney is. Regardless, I'll have to figure this stuff out later. There's some updates, there's system info, there's storage. It's kind of like a computer, this thing. It even has its own built-in GPS. Look at this. Now, the reason I'm using the GPS is because if I plug in, everything goes silent. If I plug in the USB, it's the new update that just came out, the 18 iOS. So it's a 18.01 or something like that, 18.0.1. I think they just say 18 update. So you plug in, I just use that right down there instead for chargeability. But regardless, there's nothing I can do. I don't own Apple. If I did, I probably would be flying a private jet right now and sipping on non-alcoholic drinks. You know, maybe I would celebrate with a Long Island iced tea, maybe. That was one of my favorite drinks when I was younger. But I don't smoke or drink. And how I became, you know, after I left Maine. I used to live in Maine. I was born in Fort Worth, so I've been here like pretty much my entire life. I did live in California for a stint in Long Beach. That was probably for 1 year. And I did kind of halfway break into Hollywood. I was discovered by James Lipton from the Actor Studio. He's also from the Actor Studio Drama School, which is a new school university. That's if you go to my Facebook, Cole Spivey, you'll see my badge, or it's my student badge for the new school university, Actor Studio Drama School. I've studied with everyone like Benicio del Toro, Johnny Depp. I've worked shoulder to shoulder with Jim Carrey in a picture called The Majestic. I'm a theater patron in that, but still, it still was work. We still had to be disciplined. We had to listen to Frank Darabont. I worked on set with Dustin Hoffman and Jake Gyllenhaal on Moonlight Mile. I've been on the 20th Century Fox lot doing X-Files. There was Scully right there, and is it Robert Patrick? The guy from Walk the Line, the older dude. He was taking over David Duchovny's stuff and playing Doggett. So, I've done some work. This is my show. Welcome to the Please Subscribe show. It's time for delivery. All right, 1.8 miles, 5:29 p.m. Took 8 minutes. All right, we did 27 yesterday. Current project on the horizon, a film, possibly a short, possibly a feature. Original title, The Zircle. Also Cat Named Crook. Also The Step of the Cat. And recently, I like The Phone Thief or The Smartphone Thief. Major 4 characters. There's 4 major characters. Hopperhead. Believe he's from Tennessee. He worked for the Cricket. The wireless company, Cricket. His nickname is the Cricket. Shady character, refurbishes phones, smartphones. Kind of a little bit nutty internally like Frank Booth, but doesn't sound like him. He might quote a line from Frank Booth, Blue Velvet, maybe. It's his favorite movie. Dark character, neo noir. Brassoon, okay? That's French. It's a French filmmaker. Okay, that is based on the pickpocket, loosely, very loosely based on the pickpocket. Second character, that's very important, Rob the Runner, fast sprinter, guy in shape, okay? He's got soul. He knows how to rap. He can grab a phone and then be almost a half a mile away in seconds into an Uber or to a rideshare. Does it in busy areas. He can also use trains to get away. Almost like a purse thief or a pickpocket, but he snatches the phones, the smartphones. He gets them to Hopperhead. Hopperhead refurbishes them. But he'd make more money if he can open them. He meets Kitty at the beginning of the movie. She's on the floor in the bathroom at a restaurant or a cafe. We'll figure it out later, whatever we can get a hold of. She's in the bathroom, knocked out with all her coworkers. She's gone into a seizure, speaking in tongues. It opens with that in slow-mo. They're around her. There's steam, things like that we hear. We hear the restaurant. They awaken her, and she realizes, whoops, now I'm a liability. They clear out for a moment to give her some breathing room, and then she passes out again. Hopperhead sees the whole thing. He puts his phone number in her back pocket saying if you need a job, call, because he knew at that moment. 4 horsemen right here. Very Brassoon, right? At times. Okay? So it's very Brassoon. That's what I'm calling it. You may have a better pronunciation of the French filmmaker that did The Pickpocket. Now, third character. The Bird. The Bird is a YouTuber. We go off onto another subplot or another plot. He is in his apartment, very bare, very drive. Reffin. He's there working on his phone. He puts a hidden tracker, a separate individual tracker that he's pretty much found or bought or may help make inside his phone. All right? On the other side of the body of the phone, or possibly inside the defender of the phone. Maybe in the skin of the phone. Maybe that specific. So we see him putting that in his phone so he can track it. He's a big-time YouTuber. Okay, now that brings in a movie by the Coen brothers called No Country for Old Men, because Rob the Runner happens to get the Bird's phone and goes disappearing. He used the tracker to trace Rob the Runner back to Hopperhead's warehouse. Hopperhead, Kitty, Rob the Runner. And I said third character, I meant fourth. But regardless, the Bird is the fourth character. So Hopperhead, Rob the Runner, Kitty, and Bird. So I got maybe the numbers mixed up or something. So I remember saying third character and going blank. So fourth character. Sorry about that. Anyway. Okay, so you get the point. That's the story, not necessarily the pitch. And it's about, I don't know. I'm looking at the time. I can't really see it right now. Hopperhead wears glasses. Maybe I play Hopperhead. I could probably pull off Bird. Bird has very clear diction. He moves around, very Adam the Woo. Even I could offer it to him. I know he's busy. So I know he's kind of anti-cinematic in a way because he's a vlogger. But as a consultant, and I use him that way anyway online because I don't talk to him, but I don't talk to the TV, but you know what I mean? You can kind of communicate with vloggers because you can leave messages and sometimes they respond. But regardless, he knows. But here's the thing. The bird is very charismatic. What happens is the bird finds out about the warehouse and about their operation with this smartphone thief thing. Kitty is the most useful one to hop her head because once he gets Kitty back there, he finds out that Kitty can speak in tongues in a supernatural way. The phone begins to shake and everything shakes and then the phone opens magically. Very Lynchian at that moment. Very David Lynch at that moment. So the phone starts to shake in her hand and boom, it opens any phone, right? So he can get in there and access information and even make more money. So Kitty's very, very, very important to him because it's a tool that he can use to get into the phone. All right, there they are. Rob does another run on important people. They find out the more important people they get, the money goes up for the ransom on the phone because they can take ransom for the phone. Very pickpocket, because pickpocket shows all these different ways that a pickpocket can be done. This shows this too because they can hold a phone ransom. This happens in today's society. They can pay for a reward for a found phone. Anybody can call it as long as it doesn't run out. Or they do a factory reset in time, okay? And it can also be factory reset remote. Regardless, that's technical. Here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. Rob the runner goes on a run and gets hurt. He decides to return to a church to ask for help. He eventually talks to Hopperhead and changes him. It's a story of redemption. In the end, the bird talks Hopperhead into helping him start his own show. There's music involved too, because one of them can play an instrument, probably Hopperhead. Got it? So in a way, Hopperhead is kind of saved, or at least redeemed, by Rob the Runner after Rob the Runner goes to church to ask for help. The church basically saves Rob the Runner. He decides to turn away from theft, and then he talks to Hopperhead. They have a conversation. Hopperhead decides, which we don't even know his real name, the cricket, also decides to turn his life over to being good in the path, I guess you could say, of the Lord. Now, here's the thing. He is secretly a musician. So he starts a show that's kind of like Rick Beato, kind of like a lesson show. You can learn how to play this kind of instrument. Probably the guitar or something like it. And then he starts doing that, and that's how it ends. It ends on a positive note. Kind of a comedy, but it's a neo-noir. It's very neo-noir. Okay? But not too stylish. Got it? So it's multifaceted kind of thing with a positive message. It's gonna be this one right here. .64 minutes. Will arrive 5:49 p.m. So Hopperhead would not live in something like this. He might have a place like this, but he wouldn't live in it. He would live in something like over there, Birchman Plaza. I've vlogged it a few times. It's kind of beaten up a little bit. His warehouse would be just an open space. It'd be very strange. There may be like a few packages of phones there. Remember, to make a lot of money, he doesn't have to have a lot of phones. He can have few. Because he can access information. If you can access information, you can make a lot of money, especially what people will need and account information and things like that. The hardest one to unlock is this one, and many like it. So it does represent something in nature and society. I guess you could say more society than nature, but we are still nature, even though we're a society. The character is called Bird because what he does is he speaks very fast in his phone. Just watch out in the woo. That's pretty much the bird. He can even be a little heavy set too. And he's very quick, he's very intelligent, and he knows things, right? And he shares that information. That's how he makes money. But he's also very aware of security. So he's very secure. And he wants his phone back. So that's how he gets involved in the warehouse with Hopperhead and Kitty and everything. And he cares for him because, for one thing, the bird is the most humane character. He knows they're thieves. He's kind of one himself because, well, he's a YouTuber. YouTubers aren't, not anymore. But starting off, it was pretty crazy starting off. Meaning, he might film in an area, blah, 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 this, you know, and all that stuff is just technical. But he's humane, so he understands Hopperhead. He understands Rob the Runner. He understands Kitty. He becomes friends with them. He's kind of, in a way, you could say maybe the protagonist, because he's the good character. But he only observes the redemption. You see, he's an observant character. So Hopperhead could be argued as the protagonist. You see the difference? Because Hopperhead is the one that becomes redeemed. He changes his ways. He stops refurbishing the bad phones. And then he probably learns from the bird how to start his own legit kind of YouTube show. So it's a learning thing. It's a good story. It's called Cat Named Crook, originally The Zircle, also known as Step of the Cat, and the fourth title is The Smartphone Thief. It's kind of like that one. It's kind of Brissone. Is it Richard Brissone? Something Brissone. You're looking gorgeous.
Voice message. Who's pressed an incorrect key?
Hopperhead and Rob the Runner, hanging out with Kitty and a bird that's also a plumber. Started his YouTube, now he's a YouTuber. Hopperhead and Kitty, hanging around with Rob the Runner. Here comes a bird, a YouTuber, part-time plumber. Hopperhead and Kitty, hanging out with Rob the Runner. Here comes Bird the YouTuber, also a part-time plumber. Picks up a phone, he calls being smart. The devil's always throwing his daggers and his darts. Then comes an angel with her promises in her key. She helps him write a song. He walks to smile and glee. Hopperhead and Kitty, hanging out with Rob the Runner. Here comes Bird the YouTuber, also a part-time plumber. Picks up a phone, calls being smart. Devil's always throwing his dagger and his darts. Then comes an angel with her promises and key. Helps him write a song. He walks to smile and glee. Verse 1. Hopperhead and Kitty, hanging out with Rob the Runner. Here comes Bird the YouTuber, also a part-time plumber. Picks up a phone, he calls being smart. They call me Six Eyes. Hopperhead and Kitty, hanging out with Rob the Runner. Here comes Bird the YouTuber, also part-time plumber. Picks up a phone, he calls being smart. Devil's always throwing his daggers and his darts. Then comes an angel with the promises and key. She helps him write a song. He walks to smile in glee. Hopperhead and Kitty, hanging out with Rob the Runner. Here comes Bird the YouTuber, also a part-time plumber. Picks up a phone, he calls being smart. Devil's always throwing his dagger and his darts. Then comes an angel with her promises and key. She helps him write a song. He walks to smile and glee. First verse.
Werewolf, werewolf, werewolf. I'm so sure, werewolf. Miss Havels, werewolves, Miss Havels.
Black cat, midnight, a black cat comes dancing to his knees. Pink bell from her neck lets out a little ring. Skinny Midnight or Amy, she's still a witch. Skinny Midnight or Amy, she's still a witch. With her flying broom she soars from a wooden switch. Sorry guys, I wasn't able to put it in because I'm on like super fast time, but it was about 8 miles and we will be there in about, I think it was like maybe 9 minutes was the amount of time. So it was about, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes ago, about 9:50. I'll have to check the camera. No, I wasn't able to do a loading. But about Elliott Smith, it's a whole journey, Elliott Smith is. And they're every fan, I'm a big fan. Every fan is like that with Elliott Smith. It's a special friendship that you have. That's a F-18 Hornet. But it is a special journey with Elliott Smith. That song's from Figure 8. That was his final studio song. But posthumously, they released From a Basement on the Hill after his death. He was found with 2 stab wounds to his heart in Echo Park, California. Anyway, Figure 8 was released right before that, so before his death. And that's probably his best song. Everything Reminds Me of Her. It's one of them, definitely. Accumulated trip was 8.7, so it was a Monday, so it's a manic Monday, the opposite, really. Doing experimentation on basically sound bites and movement of the camera. So listening to sound bites and moving the camera at the same time. Kind of like you're doing dance. If the camera was a dance floor. I did a film one time in LA where I played a pizza delivery guy, and they helped this bum become a worker, and he rides along with them, and he gets dropped off, and there's gnomes in the yard. Drake Dormus directed it. It's called The Bum. The bum goes and pees in their yard, and the delivery driver's singing, la 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 la, singing Strangers in the Night. It's a very awkward moment. I believe it's this one. All right. Anyway, yeah, Drake Dormus, he wrote and he directed. He was the youngest student to ever be accepted to AFI in California, the same school that David Lynch went to. Who David Lynch was invited to go from Philadelphia. Drake was from Santa Ana, Orange County. He directed me in A House Divided. But later, he would do, when I was living there in California, I was living in Long Beach. He lived in Santa Ana with his friend York. I believe Ben York. They did Beauty Inside off of Facebook, the first Facebook movie ever made. Drake hasn't released anything in like maybe 5 years. I think there was Beginnings and Endings or something like that. But he has something on the horizon called Aurora, so I don't know if that was released. I don't know what it's about. He also did Breathe In. He did one that went to Cannes Film Festival with Kristen Thomas, whatever her name is, from Twilight, and that other guy that's in Insurgents, something like that. It's kind of like a sci-fi movie that's similar to Hunger Games, but it's with another lady that's very famous. Anyway, he worked with that guy. I don't know his name. Then Guy Pearce. He worked with Guy Pearce in Breathe In. He also worked with Guy Pearce in the sci-fi movie Equals, which went to Cannes. That was the one with, I guess her name is Kristen Stewart, right? Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart. She was in On the Road. She was also in like a bunch of other. She was in Twilight. She was the beauty in Twilight that falls in love with the vampire. Anyway, regardless, Drake needed as many people as he could because he was doing this thing about a bum. So his friends kind of like hire this bum or they take on this bum to help him with their project. I guess they're actually making a movie. I think that's how it was. I could be wrong, but I think they're helping him basically get work, and I think they're filming him and stuff as he's doing it. So it was kind of cinema verite or whatever, but I think it was more narrative. Him and his friend get him a job at a pizza place, and the bum is almost like a half man, half gorilla almost. It was played by a great actor. The actor actually laid out in the sun and really got his skin burnt and stuff. But he would walk around and mumble. He was like hitting the pizza, with his hand. And I would go over to him and dip my hand in the pizza and say, no, you miss it like this. I hung out with the pizza delivery guy for a little while to do it. I actually hung out with the pizza delivery guy to study for Donovan's character in House Divided, who was a delivery driver for groceries, online groceries, like Shipped or Instacart. But back then they were starting that in California. This was like 2001-ish. Anyway, regardless, in that scene, the bum gets out of the pizza delivery guy's car and runs over to the bushes real quick to pee. And he runs my character, I guess it's Donovan. Yeah, they could call him Donovan. He was like a delivery driver at that time. Runs the pizza to the door. They paid me $20 for it. And he gave me a lamp and a few other furniture items. I think that was also for doing House Divided. Anyway, it just reminds me of that moment for some reason. Because the only thing I could think of doing while I was driving was hum. So, because they were in the back with cameras on the bum. Yeah, it was like a documentary. They were making a documentary about a bum. That's what it was. And they had cameras on him, and I'm sitting there driving I would love to see it if he would release it. He probably will. That happens. It can get re-released, like a Don's Plum kind of thing.